Hi everyone, good evening, and thank you for tuning in. Leslie Stubach here. Um, if you're tuning in for the first time, let me talk to you a little bit about Pathways to Growth, LLC, and the mission of Pathways to Growth. I am a professional certified trainer, and the mission of Pathways to Growth is to help others achieve their goals and to be the best version of themselves. And we help individuals do this all the time through a lot of our different questioning, our method, our approach that will help you dig deeper into your inner self. I do specialize in coaching women through the divorce process. That's start to finish. That's from deciding that you would like to separate from how to get your life back on track post-divorce and everything in between. So this evening I wanted to talk a little bit about returning to work after years of staying home with the kids. There are stay-at-home moms out there who, through the unfortunate process of separation or divorce, come to realize that they do need to get back into the workforce, and they just don't know where to start with the process. And so I have some tips this evening on how to go about doing that. And the first thing you have to recognize is, if you had a career before you had children and before you got married, you don't have to return to that career. So if you were a pharmacist before you got married, before you had kids and decided to stay home, you don't need to go back into that role. There are lots of different positions and careers that one can take. It's just a lot of people don't know where to start with determining the path to take. So that's the first thing. You don't have to return to the career that you're used to or that you have your education in. A lot of people do return to their career that they first started out with due to the comfort zone. That's what they know. That's the schooling that they had received. Their knowledge is based on their career that they had. It's not the case though. So this is a new beginning, a new start for you. And why not, join into something new as far as a career? One thing you can do too is do your research, do your homework. If you don't know where your skills will take you and you're not sure what your strengths are, do your research. Talk to some of your friends. See what their careers are. If you hear that a friend is really truly happy and you have the same interests, then talk to them about their career and what they do and see if it's something that you might be interested in. One thing to ask yourself is, if money was not an object of priority, what would your interests be? What do you have fun doing? What do you love doing? And I would suggest writing out a list of all of your interests, hobbies. You hear that a friend is, a designer or an events coordinator, and you love coordinating events. Talk to your friend or talk to your neighbor and see, what kind of knowledge they have to do it, and just dig a little bit. Once you identified some areas of interests, you have to then create an elevator speech in addition to a resume, because a resume is really important. But what is your elevator speech? What are you good at? And so write down on a piece of paper a little biography about yourself. Write a summary out. Summarize your strengths. Summarize some of, the areas of improvements. Now, this is just for yourself, right? Summarize areas of improvements. Things that you'd like to improve in your life. Things that make you happy. So after you're done with your elevator speech, then you incorporate that into either your resume or your job search. Really think about, how has staying at home helped me to build my skills and knowledge for my resume? Granted, I get it. This is very overwhelming, very scary. You hadn't worked for years. You don't even know where to start. Your self-confidence may be not as high as what it could be, and you just need that boost. So, think about the PTA. How have you been involved with the PTA that you can use some of those skills? Have you coordinated events for the school? Were you on the board? Your leadership skills while you were, coordinating these events, and you have to pull from your life experiences today within your life. And that's everyday life. So those will help you identify and determine what it is you would like to do and how you would like to get back into the workforce. Informational interviews, I think they're a ton of fun. And if you've never done one before, it's kind of like how I mentioned, talk to that neighbor who is an events coordinator and helps coordinate weddings or parties, and that's the fun stuff, right? Jump on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a great networking source, and it's a hub for all kinds of different professionals to network their services and what they do. Scope out some individuals who, and I'm just throwing some ideas out there, message and connect with those individuals who are wedding coordinators. Ask them if they like their job. Ask them what the best thing about their job is. What is the most fun? What's the most challenging? And ask what kind of knowledge they had before they got into events coordinating. And just do an interview with them. They don't have to know that you're interviewing them. Just ask them questions regarding their position, that you're considering doing whatever it is this person does and whatever it is that you're interested in getting into, even if you've never done it before. A lot of clients come and say, okay, I know I'm being pushed back into the workforce because I have no choice. I'm going to be the sole provider, maybe aside from a little bit that you get in child support each month from your spouse. I have to go into the workforce, but I just don't know what my strengths are. Ask for feedback. If you're on the PTA board or you're on the PTA and you've helped put together events, ask some of the other moms that have been on the PTA with you what they consider some of your strengths being. Ask for that feedback. There are assessments out there that you can take. Strengths Finders is one of them. And it's where you answer a lot of different questions and it spits out a result and it tells you what your top strengths are. And that's how you know what your strengths are going into your job search. And honestly, I had done it years ago and it was very rewarding and uplifting, motivating to see some of the results that I had, because I never thought of myself in that way. Never thought that I was truly, that empathetic towards others or, understand. There are things that you just don't tune into with yourself. and how you are with others. And so that it really helps to hear. Most importantly, look at this time in your life as a new beginning and a time to reinvent yourself. You are starting over. You may be a stay-at-home mom for 20, whatever, 10, 15 years maybe, right? Even if it's 2 or 3 years and you find yourself having to go back in the workforce, it's not easy stepping back into a career, no matter how many years you've been a stay-at-home mom. So look at this as a fresh start, a new beginning, and again, a time to reinvent who you truly want to be. Maybe you disliked your career before you had children and got married. And if that's the case, certainly don't step back into something that you didn't like. There's nothing worse than going to a job that you do not like every day of, for how many years. Confidence in your ability to go back into the workforce, have that confidence. Again, you'll build that confidence through the assessments and through the lists that you're making and through individuals telling you feedback on how you've performed in certain situations. It's very empowering. And one other thing that you have to remember is you're not necessarily going out into the workforce blindly either. You may have had some experience, whether it was in high school, college, working a part-time job while you were going through school. You have some sort of experience in a job. And so now's the time to do something that you enjoy. And if you enjoyed what you did before you got married and had kids and before you became a stay-at-home mom, oh my gosh, that's even more of a bonus, because you're halfway there to landing, a position. Get out on the job boards. LinkedIn also has a job board, and you can post your resume out there. They post jobs. Recruiters will search for you, and you can look through jobs, and if you're interested, then apply to them. There's monster.com, there's Career Builder, there's now ZipRecruiter. There's a ton of job boards that you can post your resume out there. And so if you ever have any questions on next steps or where to go, if you're feeling stuck, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I am, accessible on Facebook, and my website has my email and, all of my contact information. So please feel free to reach out and we can talk through next steps. And if you're really feeling stuck, we can go through some assessments and, kind of take a walk through it and get you to where you need to be. The most important thing to think about when you're doing this, it's so easy to allow for emotions to get the best of you. And you're not only going through a tough time in your life, but now you're doing something, you're stepping out of your comfort zone, you're doing something different than you've done for the past how many years. And it's not easy. So be kind to yourself, and it's okay to ask for help. And just take it one day at a time. I hope this helped at least one person out there watching. So stay tuned for more. My next video will be on how to walk away from toxic people. And that's definitely not something that's easy. So I'm going to talk through some ways to, put yourself first. Self-care is very important, and you can choose to be happy and not be around toxic people. Have a good evening. Thank you.